Hello, guys. We're looking at consciousness, specifically Module 23, looking at sleep. Um, we don't really know why sleep happens. There's no like your heart doesn't require you to go to sleep. Your kidneys don't require you to go to sleep. There's no physiological reason um, why. So there's no 100% that we know of why uh, humans and all species that do engage in sleep. Some theories out there. Um, the adaptive reason for sleep. So, human beings were really good at seeing in the day and performing our activities and like hunters and gatherers early in our existence, gathering food in the day. But at night, our eyes don't really see in the dark very well. Um, so sleep might have been, and obviously occurring before humans, uh, been something that species evolved to basically keep us out of trouble. Like, all right, it's nighttime, it's the danger time for you. You just go to bed now, and like you pass out, and then you wake up when it's time to find food, and you're better able to operate again. Um, So that's a particular reason. Conserving energy, you do burn less calories while you're sleeping. So, especially if during, say, that nighttime, you're not going to be very productive, you're not going to be able to find food, then might as well just kind of put yourself in a state where you're not going to be observing or burning those calories as much, so you can save it for when you can actually be productive. And the restorative sleep and nervous system to help the body and mind heal up as needed. So those are just some theories of why we and other species might engage in sleep. So our sleep is dictated by a lot by our circadian rhythms, and these are our body's um, signals of when it's time to be awake and when it's time to go to sleep. And it's a 24-hour cycle, and it's cued by a lot of different things: external cues, internal cues. And it's something that's it's really important. A really good habit to develop is to go to bed at a specific time every night. Every night, not just like Monday through Friday. You have your like school bedtime, and then Friday, Saturday, you stay up way later or whatever. If you really want to train your body to get the best sleep, you go to bed at a certain time, you wake up at a certain time every single day. Um, so your body builds up that rhythm of what to do. So circadian rhythm, it can be certainly interfered with if you live in a place like famously like way like to the north and the south and stuff. It experiences times of almost constant darkness and almost constant light depending on the season and the extreme of how far north or south you are. So people in like far northern parts of Alaska or whatever might have trouble getting enough sleep because it's like almost daytime and your body's like, hey, it's daytime, it's time to be up. So they might get those blockout shades like, all right, we need to simulate darkness so our bodies can go to sleep. And then obviously modern day with travel the way it is, things like jet lag, flying from one side of the country to the other in a matter of hours. It's you're flying from New York to Los Angeles, and it's like, oh, it's only 9 o'clock, but oops, now my body thinks it's midnight, like I'm really tired. So your circadian rhythm has a lot of internal and external cues that regulate your alertness and when you're sleepy. Okay. So sleep happens as a change of consciousness. Okay, your brain actually changes in the waves and signals it has, and you progress through different stages of sleep as you go through your nighttime of sleep. Okay. So starting with stage one, which after that basically turns into REM sleep, and then stage 2 through 4 of non-REM sleep. Um, each stage having kind of different distinguishing features from each other, and as you can see, you transition between stages throughout the night, spending most of your time overall in stage 2, but constantly switching back and forth, going up and kind of going down the ladder as you go through your night's sleep. And there's REM there, rapid eye movement sleep. Okay, so you have your beginning stages With your theta waves, your brain's switching from beta waves to theta waves, and then finally down to delta waves as you get to your deep sleep stages 3 and 4. Okay, so you're awake here. You have your beta waves. You start getting drowsy. That transfers to your alpha waves, and then your theta waves. And you know, they've done sleep studies on people, and they're watching their brain activity. And you guys probably don't do this yet, and I don't know if I've gotten to this stage yet, but I know my dad used to be able to have a conversation and go in and out of sleep while he was doing it because he'd be so tired. So like they've actually done, they'll be talking to someone and like, do you know you just fell asleep? And the person's like, no, I didn't. But they're looking at their brain scans like, yeah, you switched to theta waves for like 5 seconds or whatever and kind of woke back up. So your stage 1, you're very easily awakened. Your brain transitions to theta waves. Stage 2, characterized by these sleep spindles and K complexes. So the sleep spindles, whole lot of rapid kind of wavelengths here. And then the K complex, very, very, very long amplitudes. Both of these, again, not exactly sure what their purpose is. Main theory is that's for memory retention, to aid in memory retention, your sleep spindles and K complexes, and that defines the second stage. And then your brain transitions to delta waves. First stages 3 and 4, that's the deep sleep, very hard to awaken. So stage 1, regular bleeding or breathing. You have you sleep very, very light sleep. You're easily awakened. This is where you get those like you start to dream or whatever, and you kick your foot or something and it wakes you up real quick. That happens during stage 1 if you've ever felt that. Typically you're not in for very long, and then you transition to stage 2, which is where you spend most of the night in and out going through stage 2 with the sleep spindles and the K complexes. Still is awakened, but you're asleep. Like you're clearly out. Stage 1 you can kind of go in and out really quickly without really being drowsy at all. Stage 2 you're asleep, but you can still be awoken. Okay, then you get your deep sleep. This happens for longer periods of time, and for this you're much harder to awake. You're out. You're deep sleep, and this is where some of the disorders that we'll talk about in our next module can occur. Sleepwalking, night terrors, and stuff can happen during this stage. Again, my daughter had night terrors when she was young, and she would be very, very, very hard to wake her up out of it. She'd be kind of whining and moaning, and then I would try to wake her up, and she'd kind of be like up, but like she clearly wasn't awake. Like it was kind of a weird thing to look at. Like her eyes were even open, but she clearly wasn't awake, and she was still kind of crying and whining. And then all of a sudden, after like 20 minutes, you're just kind of like snap out of it, and she's like, "What's the big deal?" So that's during stages 3 and 4, and then your REM sleep, your rapid eye movement. This goes from stage 1 down to stage 4, and then when we get back to after stage 2, it's no longer stage 1 again. Now it's REM sleep. This is where you have your rapid brain movement. It's very, very active. Your breathing and heart, and your eye movement. Your body essentially paralyzes you during this stage, and that's where the phenomenon of sleep paralysis can occur, where someone can actually gain consciousness, but they're still paralyzed and still kind of in a dream state, so they can have really, really weird dreams, which are often very scary because they know that they can't move. And so they start to hallucinate that this is where we have like stories of alien abduction and like ghosts sitting on people's chests and stuff, because it's hard for them to breathe and move. So that's all part of REM. Well, not naturally a part of REM sleep, the sleep paralysis, but that can happen during REM sleep. You are paralyzed during this stage, and it cannot be easily awakened as well. Okay, so your full cycle repeats over about 90 minutes or so. More REM sleep as the night moves on. About 25% is REM. Most of it's stage 2, and then the other stages make up the rest. So function of sleep, again, not 100% known, but we know that not getting enough sleep can have really, really negative effects. Just kind of the normal crankiness and just not feeling very well. But I mean, it can affect memory retention. It can affect weight loss. Um, it can affect your immune system. So it's really important to make sure you're getting enough sleep, so your body can best function the way that it needs to, so you can do all the things that you need to do. Okay, so those are the foundations of sleep. We'll look at some of the sleep problems that can occur and what effects those can have in our next module.